Good morning, traders. This is Shane Scott, the moderator of Newsware's Trade Talk. At Trade Talk, we're providing you with the most up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. Joining me today is our trading anchor, Bill Olson, who brings over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. Let's get things started with our markets update. U.S. futures are moving lower this morning, with S&P futures down 0.13%, Dow futures down 0.11%, and NASDAQ futures down 0.04%. Markets have declined today as negative sentiment over slowing economy and the prospect of reduced central bank stimulus continues to flare. The S&Ps are seeing their longest run of losses since July, while the treasuries 10-year yield shed 1 basis point. The ongoing spread of the Delta variant is taking its toll on the U.S. economy, as well as a global supply chains, as it depresses growth and boosts inflation. These factors are causing central banks to have to pull back on their recovery support and begin policy tightening, and that's exactly what's already begun in many countries. The Fed's Beige Book survey showed U.S. economic activity decelerated in the past 2 months as consumers pulled back on spending due to safety concerns, but even still, shortages meant inflationary pressures remain stubborn. China showed further evidence for global price pressures, where data has shown that factory gate inflation has surged. Calls for reduction in bond purchases are growing. Fed Bank of New York President John Williams stated that it could be appropriate for policymakers to begin tapering as soon as this year. And Dallas President Robert Kaplan said, based on current outlook, he would support a September announcement of tapering in bond purchases and a possible start in October. Elsewhere in markets, a rally in base metals has deepened amid supply concerns, and crude oil has moved higher amid a slow return of U.S. output after Hurricane Ida. Over in Europe, the Stock 600 index declined with negative sentiment in markets before a meeting of the region's central bank amid speculation policymakers are getting ready to taper stimulus. Over in Asia, tech shares slid after officials told firms, including Tencent and NetEase, to end their focus on profit in gaming. That sentiment has been felt in the U.S. pre-market as well, as NetEase has dropped 4.1% and Alibaba has dropped 2.9%. Bill, what are you seeing as far as market updates?
Shane, I'm watching the S&Ps. I've been watching them all morning. Earlier today, they're down, 0.35%, then, 0.28%. Now they're down just a fraction off. So that's a real positive. What's going on? Well, this morning we got to watch for the jobless claims. It's coming out 1 hour before the market opens. Expectations here are for minus 5,000 slide to 335K. Today, it was a big, heavy day for Fed comments. You got a lot of Fed speak going on. There's a total of 7 officials that will be speaking. Now, based on their August sentiment, you're looking at 4 of them are dovish, 3 of them are hawkish. That just tilted with John Williams' comments. Now we're looking at 4 that are going to be hawkish, 3 that are going to be dovish, but we'll see more as things go on throughout the day, as these Fed people start to speak today and this afternoon. The Beige Book data, that was key. What did the Beige Book data show? It showed that growth is sliding and it's contracting where? In dining, in travel, in tourism. That's exactly what I expected to see from the Beige Book. You're looking at pharmaceutical stocks and tech stocks. They were moving lower overseas, especially when you look at Hong Kong. Hong Kong's market were down over 2%, because China's cracking down on video game companies. You look at what just happened just now, the ECB, they just announced that they're leaving rates unchanged. Sounds good. See, the S&Ps have recovered. However, they did mention about asset purchases. They're going to continue at a moderately lower pace than in previous 2 quarters. That means tapering. That's their speak for saying they're starting their tapering, which means it's likely going to be, I think the odds are good that you're going to see tapering announced at the next FOMC meeting. Today, there's a couple companies coming out with earnings. American Outdoor, AOUT, ticker ZS, Zebra Sam, and ticker Zebra under Michael Zebra are all going to be releasing earnings this afternoon.
Let's talk about earnings to watch, starting out with what we've seen come in so far. It looked like RH did really well. Bill, why don't you tell us about it?
Restoration Hardware, they really delivered. I'm sorry, it's no longer called Restoration Hardware. It's RH. They beat by $2. They did it on higher revenue. They raised guidance. You look at the stock; it's up, 2.22% this morning, which is big for that pricey stock. Lululemon, the ticker LULU, Larry Uncle, they beat by 46 cents, and they did it on higher revenue, and they also raised guidance. GameStop, on the other hand, ticker GME, Grace Michael Edward, they missed by 10 cents. They did do it on a bit higher revenue, but you look at GameStop this morning, it's down 8.2%. It's, times are catching up to GameStop. Lovesac, they missed by 44 cents, but they did it on higher revenue. You look at the stock, it's up 9.24% this morning. And Car Parts, this is ticker CPRT, Charlie, Paul, Richard, Tom, they delivered a 12-cent beat. They did it on higher revenue. Stock's unchanged right now, but I saw last night when they did that release that it was trading over $150. So I'm expecting Car Parts to continue that move higher when the market opens today.
How about insights as far as upcoming earning announcements?
Okay, we got ticker ZUMZ, Zebra Uncle Michael Zebra. Their EPS estimate is 77 cents. Now, the expected move here is 10.37%. Zscaler, which is ticker ZS, Zebra Sam, their EPS estimate, is about 77 cents as well, and their expected move is 9.58%. American Outdoor, this is ticker AOUT, Apple, Outside, Under, Tom. They're expected to earn 40 cents, and the expected move there is 13.38%.
Moving into our economic reports, Bill, tell us what we see as far as reports today.
At 8:30 this morning, we have jobless claims coming out. But at 11 a.m., which is a half hour normal and 1 day later than normal, we're going to be getting the Energy Information Administration's oil stockpiles report. This is a key report, will really help, build or contract the momentum that's going on in oil. So be wary of that 11 o'clock hour for the oil stockpiles report. A lot of Fed speak going on today, as I mentioned earlier, at 11:05 a.m. this morning. We're going to be hearing from Chicago Fed Bank President Charles Evans and the San Francisco Fed Bank President Mary Daly. Both are considered doves. At 12 noon, Robert Kaplan. He's the most hawkish guy out there. At 1 p.m., Kansas City Fed Michelle Baumann. She's hawkish. At 2 p.m., New York Fed John Williams. He was a dove last month. It looks like he's turning hawkish based on those comments yesterday. And then at 4 p.m., we have Minneapolis Fed Bank President Neil Kashkari, Boston Fed Bank President Eric Rosengreen, and Dallas Fed Bank President Robert Kaplan, all speaking at an event. So we'll have to see how the market reacts to the comments that are coming out today from various Federal Reserve officials.
Moving into our morning's critical insights, starting things off with one on United Airlines, ticker UAL, and Honeywell, ticker HON. The companies have made a joint multi-million-dollar investment in Alder Fuels, which is a clean tech company that is pioneering technologies for producing sustainable aviation fuel at scale by converting abundant biomass like forest and crop waste into sustainable drop and replacement crude oil that can be used to produce aviation fuel. In other news, Freeline, ticker FRLN, both the FDA and European Commission have granted orphan drug designation for Freeline's treatment of Gaucher disease. Freeline's share price is up 3.96% in pre-market. News on AstraZeneca, ticker AZN. Results from the company's phase 3 trial for its treatment for asthma met primary endpoints, demonstrating statistically significant and clinically meaningful reductions in the risk of severe exacerbations when compared to standard asthma treatment. Elsewhere on the tape, Walgreens, ticker WBA, and Village MD are expanding in Arizona with the plan to open 18 Village Medical and Walgreens locations in Phoenix area, with plans to open 4 additional locations by the end of the year. News on Carlyle Group, ticker CG. Carlyle Group is mulling over the sale of its outsourcing business, VXI Global Solutions, that could value the division at $1.5 billion to $2 billion. In other news, Ford, ticker F, has decided to end vehicle manufacturing in India. The company will wind down vehicle assembly in Sanand by the end of the fourth quarter 2021 and vehicle and engine manufacturing in Chennai by the second quarter of 2022. Approximately 4,000 employees are estimated to be affected by the restructuring. Ford said sales of current products such as Figo, Aspire, Freestyle, EcoSport, and Endeavor will cease once existing dealer inventories are sold. However, the company will continue full customer support operations for these vehicles. Ford will also begin importing and selling its iconic vehicles, including the Mustang Coupe. Ford share price is down 0.61% in pre-market. News on Humanogen, ticker HGEN. The company has dropped 55% in pre-market after the FDA declined an emergency use authorization request of Lenzulamab in newly hospitalized COVID-19 patients late last night. Elsewhere on the tape, Restaurant Brands, ticker QSR, their company Burger King has announced that it has permanently banned 120 artificial ingredients from their food menu nationwide, and Restaurant Brands share price is up 0.09% in pre-market. Lastly for me, Caesars, ticker CZR, is set to sell its non-U.S. assets of William Hill to 888 Holdings for approximately $3 billion. Bill, what are you seeing as far as this morning's news?
Well, Shane, I break my news down into specific news alerts. I'm looking for alerts on events such as earnings and buybacks, contracts. But I also look for, things on specific industries. So, I follow the oil sector. I follow, semiconductors. And when you have the news broken down into these specific type of segments, it just allows you to react much quicker and get the news and digest it in a much more rapid fashion. This morning, I'm looking at my FANG sector, and what I'm seeing is, Amazon. There was the California State Senate has passed an Assembly Bill 701 seeking to crack down on Amazon's use of productivity quotas on its employees. Google, ticker GOOG. Apparently they're facing another European probe over possibly forcing device manufacturers to use Google Assistant as the default voice assistant on Android devices. Very similar to what happened to Microsoft in the 90s, where they were forcing PC manufacturers to put in their browser as the default browser on all internet services. Facebook, social media influencers who receive money from companies to promote products are going to have to clearly label such posts as advertisements, according to a top German court yesterday. I'm looking over my Dow Jones 30 alert. Chevron just keeps popping up. CVX, Charlie Victor X-ray. Hurricane Ida really has crippled the output in the Gulf of Mexico. Caterpillar, ticker CAT, Charlie Apple Tom. They entered into a 364-day credit facility for up to $3.15 billion. That's interesting news. You got to watch the credit sometimes on some of these companies like Caterpillar. To me, it means that they're going to need some additional funding until they get the revenue in from products that they're selling. Boeing, ticker BA. This is all over the tape. Boeing's board is going to be facing a lawsuit over that 737 MAX debacle on how they kept pushing forward with it, even though they knew that there were safety concerns. News on Johnson & Johnson, ticking J&J. It's really more industry-wide, but the Biden administration is moving into high gear, and they're planning to try and make an attempt at lowering prescription drug prices. I'm looking at my options for, any sectors where there's some low vol, and you got that September 14th event going on for Apple. And so I was looking at the chip sectors, AMD, 30-day option implied volatility is at 39, 52-week range, 29 to 71. Marvel Technologies, ticker MRVL, Michael Richard Victor Larry, 30-day option implied volatility is at 30. The 52-week range is 28 to 68. NVIDIA, ticker NVDA, 30-day option implied volatility is at 37. 52-week range is 32 to 60. Moving over to guidance, there's a number of guidance stories that are going on today, which have me excited. United Airlines, for example, that's ticker UAL. They came out and they warned third quarter revenues and capacities are likely going to take a hit due to weaker travel demand. And why? COVID-19. Those cases are rising. With that Delta variant. United expects the revenue fall of 33% compared to the same period in 2019. They expect capacity to decline at least 28%, which is more than 26% fall from their earlier forecast. So that's not good news for United Airlines. Nike, on the other hand, NKE. You look at the stock, Nike is up 1.5% this morning. UBS came out and they said, hey, we're lowering our guidance today on the stock due to COVID shutdowns. What do they mean by that? Well, in Vietnam, they had to, shut down some factories, which due to COVID. And how much is that going to affect their guidance for 2022? We don't know. The analyst really says, I just don't know. But he did say that he felt that, Nike was going to trade higher off of the earnings when they release later this month. So I'm kind of positive on this story on Nike. Quest Diagnostics, this is ticker DGX, David Grace X-ray. They just upped their financial outlook for this year, for 2021. Their EPS view of $11.65, not to $12.35. Their old estimate was $10.65 to $11.35. So that's a big raise. They also, raised the revenue for 2021. So it's positive for Quest Diagnostics, ticker DGX, and I was pleased to see that. But that's what I'm seeing in terms of news events today, Shane.
Let's talk about our Trade Talk picks for today. I'm picking the one that Bill just spoke about, Quest Diagnostics, ticker DGX. It's good news, how they're raised their guidance, and they're up a little bit in pre-market so far. They're up about 0.5%. And could they move $1 today? Yeah, possibly. I think it's a good possibility. So that's my pick. What's yours looking like, Bill?
Shane, I'm going to go with Chevron, ticker CVX, Charlie Victor X-ray. They're going to collaborate on some hydrogen projects with Caterpillar. It was announced. I look at oil prices. I feel oil price is going to continue to move higher based on the news reports coming out of the Gulf on how production has really been curtailed. I add that up, and I think that oil could, move higher, which should move Chevron higher. And let's face it, that Chevron news with Delta Airlines and Google, how they all entered into a pact to, create sustainable aviation fuel, that's still positive news. And I think Chevron could see some gains today. That's ticker CVX, Charlie Victor X-ray, and that's my pick for today, Shane.
Well, let's move into what's hot off the press. So this is the news that's hitting the tape as we speak. Let's talk about it. Bill, what are the headlines we should let them know about?
Semiconductor shortages have halted Jeep Cherokee and Chrysler minivan plants for the next 2 weeks.
Here's an update on news in China. China is said to freeze issuance of licenses to video games amid a campaign against gaming addiction.
IBM Watson's is launching new AI and automation features to help businesses transform customer service. I see one on Verizon as well. The National Football League has extended their relationship with Verizon. It's just agreed to a 10-year partnership with Verizon.
Chipotle Mexican Grill, ticker CMG, has unveiled a Chipotle Creator Class.
Southwest Airlines, they're seeing Q3 operating revenue down 18 to 20% versus what it was in the third quarter of 2019.
Eli Lilly, ticker LLY, has been granted breakthrough therapy designation by the FDA for its treatment for heart failure. This is an interesting one. Moderna, ticker mRNA, said today that it's developing a single-dose vaccine that combines a booster against COVID-19 and against the flu.
International Paper, ticker IP, they're having an Investors Day today. Ticker ASO, Apple Sam Oscar, this is Academy Sports and Outdoors. Board authorized the repurchase of up to 500 million shares over the next 3 years. Ticker ASO, Apple Sam Oscar. SAP, Sam Apple Paul, SAP was named a short-term investment idea at Deutsche Bank this morning.
Anything else interesting for you, Bill?
No, Shane, that's all I'm saying.
Same here. So that's what's hot off the press. Traders, keep in mind you can receive the same breaking stories we do simply by subscribing at newsware.com. Check us out. Get a free trial. It'll definitely up your trading game. Lastly, moving to our scoreboard, our picks from Wednesday. I had Analog Devices, ticker ADI. It opened at $163.71. and went up as high as $165.30 near 10 a.m. for a 0.97% gain. It wasn't long-lived. There was a chance to come up until about 10:30 a.m. Then it dipped from there, but ended up just pennies below where it started at $163.67. So mostly a flat move. Didn't really end up the way I wanted it to. How did yours end up doing, Bill?
Well, Shane, I did love ticker LOVE, which is Lovesac, the furniture maker. Now, this was an earnings play. Everything I looked at looked good, but man, the stock opened up at $54.22. It closed the day at $50.46. But this was an earnings play. So I'm waiting for the announcement. Well, the announcement came, and there goes Lovesac up 12%, 12.74% this morning. The stock actually hit a high of 58 this morning. It's currently trading up, Lovesac is currently trading up $6.43, over 3% based when compared to yesterday's opening print. So Lovesac, ticker LOVE, is giving me some love today. It was a good call.
Nice. Well, that's going to do it for us here at Trade Talk with Traders. You know what to do. Let's get out there. Let's make some green.